The stars above looked cold and distant, as always. Captain Eli Mercer stood at the edge of the ECS Ravenlight's observation deck. Eyes fixed on the swirling mass of gas and dust before them, a dead system. No planets, no moons. Just a field of asteroids drifting in silence, so why was there a distress signal? The message had no language, no ID code, just a pulsing carrier wave repeating every 11 seconds. It had been going for years, maybe centuries. Long enough that its energy should have faded. But somehow, it was still strong, too strong. Behind Eli, the crew was nervous. He could hear it in their voices, could feel it in the way they moved. "Captain," came the voice of Lieutenant Kara Yim Overcomes. "We've got a visual." "Oh. Want to see this?" Eli entered the bridge. The screen showed something large, very large, drifting among the rocks. It wasn't natural. The object was over a kilometer long, shaped like a broken spearhead. Its hull was dark, almost black, and covered in strange vein-like lines that pulsed with a dull red glow. Parts of it looked burned, others melted or torn. It wasn't built like any human ship, or any alien one Eli had ever seen. Could be precursor tech, whispered Chief Engineer Jonah Pex. Could be thousands of years old. Or newer, Kara replied. If that thing's dead, why is it still bleeding signal? Eli didn't answer. He just nodded. Prep the boarding crew. The Ravenlight's boarding shuttle detached from the main ship and drifted toward the derelict. The boarding team consisted of Eli, Kara, Jonah, medic, Dr. Helena Voss. As they approached the alien vessel, they passed a massive crack in the hull. It was wide enough to fly a battleship through. Eli spoke over comms. "You seeing this Ravenlight?" "Copy," the comms officer replied. "That breach doesn't look natural." "No," said Eli. "It looks like something tried to rip this ship in half." They guided the shuttle inside. The interior was just as strange. The walls were curved and almost organic in shape. Red lights pulsed faintly in the metal, like blood flowing under skin. The airlock opened with a hiss, and they stepped inside. The silence was heavy. No signs of life, no bodies. No movement, just the sound of their own breath in their helmets. Jonah ran a scanner over the walls. Material is unknown. Not metal, not ceramic. It's almost biological. Kara tapped her helmet. "I'm picking up low-frequency vibrations. Something's humming. Engines." Helena asked. "No. It's too regular. Like a heartbeat." They moved deeper. Doors opened automatically as they approached smoothly. Silently, like the ship was still alive, waiting. Then came the writing. Symbols appeared on the walls, glowing softly as they passed. No one recognized the language. But the shapes, ... They felt familiar. Curved. Elegant. Almost like ancient earth cave paintings, twisted into something alien. Helena stopped. "Captain, I don't like this. The air here is breathable, but the bacteria in the atmosphere is weird. It's reacting to our scans." "Keep moving," Eli said. "Let's find the signal source." They reached a central chamber. It was huge, like a cathedral. Its pillars rose to the ceiling, carved with glowing vines. In the center stood a tall pedestal. It was black and smooth, like obsidian, but glowed faintly red underneath. Jonah reached out. "Careful," Kara warned. "I just want to," he slipped. A sharp edge on the pedestal cut his glove. Just a nick, but it was enough. A single drop of blood fell onto the surface. The change was instant. The pedestal flared red. Symbols lit up across the walls like fireworks. The floor began to pulse. The air thickened. The ship woke up and screamed lights, blazed to life. The walls shuddered. The once dead ship was now breathing. The team staggered as the floor beneath them rippled like liquid. "Get back to the shuttle," Eli barked, but the ship wasn't letting them go. Doors began closing. Hallways shifted. The entire structure was moving, reconfiguring itself. Like a puzzle resetting, Kara shouted, "It's changing the layout, trying to trap us." Eli slammed a control panel with his glove. "Jonah, that blood, what did it do?" "I don't know. Jonah yelled back. It reacted like the ship knew it. They ran. Twisting hallways led them back to the breach. The shuttle was still there. Dash barely. The team dove inside. Just as the alien ship sealed itself behind them, back on the Ravenlight. The crew tried to make sense of what had happened. The alien ship had gone dark again. No more lights, no signal. Like it was waiting, Dr. Voss scanned Jonah's hand. "There's something in your blood," she said slowly. "Nanostructures, synthetic, and they're replicating." Jonah stared at her. "You mean ... nanobots?" She replied, "Not bots. Organisms. Alive." The room went silent. Eli looked out the window, back toward the alien vessel. It hung there, quiet now, still, watching. Waiting hours later, alone in the medbay, Jonah sat in silence. His hand still hurt where the pedestal had cut him. He lifted it to his face. His veins glowed faint red. Then he heard a whisper. Not through the ship. Not through the calm. But inside his own mind. A voice he didn't understand but somehow recognized. "Welcome. Home." Jonah stood in the med bay staring at his hand under the scanner. The skin around the cut looked normal at first. But inside? Inside, something had changed. Dr. Helena Voss zoomed in. The microscope feed showed it clearly. Microscopic threads, metallic, glowing faint, red-draped around his blood cells. They moved with purpose, like they were alive. "Is it ... a virus?" Jonah asked. Helena shook her head. "No, a virus. Infect cells. This is ... something else. These structures aren't hijacking your blood. They're talking to it. Talking to it. They're reacting to your biology like it was built to work with it. Like you were made for this." On the bridge, Kara was watching the alien ship through the main viewer. Since their return, its lights had gone dim again. Silent. Still. But now something was different. The ship's glowing lines were moving slowly, like veins shifting under skin. A heartbeat rhythm pulsed across the hull. Captain Kara said, "You need to see this." Eli stepped up. "What is it?" "The ship is changing. It's turning just a little toward us." As they watched, one end of the alien vessel rotated, pointing directly at the Ravenlight. Not fast, not threatening, just aware. Eli's voice was low. "It's looking at us." Later that evening, Jonah sat alone in his quarters. He hadn't told anyone yet, but the whispers were back. Not loud, but clear. A voice inside his head, speaking words he couldn't understand, except he did understand them, in his dreams. He saw the symbols from the alien ship glowing behind his eyes. Every time he woke up, he remembered more. Tonight, when he looked at the ship's recordings, he saw something impossible. The symbols on the wall. He could read them. He whispered them aloud, unsure why. Blood remembers. Flesh is the key returned to the core. He didn't know what it meant, but something inside him did. The next morning, he sent a drone into the alien ship. Eli didn't want to risk another manned trip yet, not after what happened with Jonah. The drone floated down a corridor. Lights. Flashing, the air inside the ship was now rich with oxygen. The walls had changed smoother, glowing brighter. "It's like it's healing itself," Kara noted. "Or growing." Jonah watched silently from the back of the bridge. Then the drone reached the central chamber again. The pedestal was gone. In its place stood, shape, not a statue, a figure, tall, thin, alien, in outline but unmistakably shaped. Like a human, the glowing red lines on its skin matched the ones now faintly visible under Jonah's. The ship had made it. Jonah didn't remember walking down the hallway. One moment he was on the bridge, the next. He was standing at the observation deck, staring at the alien vessel, hand pressed against the glass. His breathing was slow, calm, and then the voice returned. Stronger this time. Clearer. "You are not the first. You are the return. Flesh remembers. Blood obeys." He gasped and fell to his knees, heart pounding. Kara rushed in behind him. "Jonah, what the hell are you doing?" He looked up, and for a moment his eyes were glowing faint red. "It's Talking to me? He whispered. The ship. It knows us. It knows me. Eli slammed a hand down on the table in the briefing room. This stops now, he said. We need to get out of here. Lena nodded. Whatever is in Jonah's blood. It's growing. I've run 5 tests. It's not harming him, but it's changing him. Kara looked uneasy. He can hear it. The ship. What if? What if he's becoming part of it? Then we sedate him and pull out now, Eli said, before that thing decides to wake up again. But the lights flickered, and for a moment, everyone in the room heard it. Do not fear. You are the beginning. You are the home. The room fell into stunned silence. Jonah hadn't spoken. The voice had come from the ship. Over there comes outside. The alien vessel turned again, not spinning, not drifting, moving, slow. Deliberate propulsion began pushing it toward the asteroid. Eli stood frozen. Is it ... leaving?
Not leaving,
Kara said, navigating to where. A warning alarm began to sound. Kara checked her console. The ship just sent out a signal. Long range, directional. Eli's face hardened. Where's it going? Kara stared at the display. It's headed ... to Earth. Back in the med bay, Jonah lay on the bed, unconscious. His skin was pale, but beneath the surface. Red lights flickered like fireflies underwater on the screen beside him. A diagram showed his bloodstream half-human cells, half-synthetic structures. Fused perfectly together, then his hand twitched. He sat up and opened his mouth. But the voice that came out was not his. Phase 1 complete. Phase 2, reconnection. His eyes glowed bright red. The screen cut to black. Jonah sat in the medbay staring at his hands. They were trembling. But not from fear, from energy. Something inside him had woken up. He could feel it humming in his veins, buzzing beneath his skin like a swarm of invisible insects. His heartbeat was no longer alone. There was a second rhythm now on he couldn't control. Dr. Voss walked in, datapad in hand. I ran your blood through 4 different machines, she said. None of them agree on what it is now. It's not just human. Any more? Jonah looked up slowly. Then what is it? Helena hesitated. I don't know, but it's learning. Fast. In the next few days, Jonah changed. At first, it was small things. He could hear engine frequencies no one else noticed. He could see heat trails. With his bare eyes, he could sense movement on the ship even through walls. Then it got worse. During a systems check, Kara saw him place a hand on a broken console. It sparked, then lit up, fully repaired. She stared. What did you do? Jonah looked confused. I just felt what it needed. He wasn't trying to be scary, but Kara stepped back anyway. Something was wrong. He was becoming something else. Jonah began dreaming of the alien ship every night. But they didn't feel like dreams. They felt like memories. He saw its halls filled with tall, glowing figures. Not aliens, humans, wearing strange armor. Walking through the corridors like they belonged there. They weren't explorers. They were builders in the dreams. He stood among them. He was one of them. He woke up gasping, heart pounding. Then he saw. It etched into his palm. A symbol from the ship, burned into his skin like a tattoo. Glowing softly, seeing crew divides, the crew met in private. Eli, Kara, Helena, and 2 engineers. Jonah wasn't invited. We have to make a decision, Eli said. He's not the same. And now the ship's active again. That's not a coincidence. Helena folded her arms. He hasn't hurt anyone. He's not dangerous. Yet Kara replied. He fixed a console with his bare hand. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't eat. It's not Jonah anymore. I agree, one of the engineers said. What if he's a spy for the ship? What if it's controlling him? Helena's voice was quiet. Or what if he's evolving? Eli said nothing. But deep down he knew the truth. Jonah was becoming something new. Suddenly, the lights dimmed. The comm system lit up without being touched. A voice came through, deep, calm, alien, but also ... familiar. It spoke in perfect English. Phase 2 progressing. Integration stable, awaiting final connection. Kara looked at the screen. That's not a message. Lena nodded slowly. It's a status update. Lai stared at the comms log. Jonah didn't say that. He said no, Kara replied. The ship did. Jonah was listening from the hallway, and for the first time, he wasn't sure if the voice on the comms was separate from his own. That night, Jonah looked in the mirror. His reflection was almost right, but not quite. His veins glowed faintly under his skin like red lightning under glass. His pupils had changed, now thin and vertical, like a reptile's. His fingertips had fine ridges like data connectors. He reached out and touched. The mirror, the glass shimmered slightly. He didn't even flinch. It didn't scare him anymore because he understood now. He was becoming what he was always meant to be. The nanotech wasn't invading him. It was completing him. The next day, alarms rang on the Ravenlight. The alien ship had moved again closer. This time, a small section of its hull opened like a door. A bright red light pulsed from within. Jonah walked onto the bridge. Everyone turned to face him. I have to go back, he said simply. Eli stood up. The hell you are. You don't understand, Jonah replied calmly. It's not calling me. I'm calling it. The ship's glow grew brighter, pulsing in rhythm with Jonah's heartbeat. Jonah stepped into the airlock, helmet in hand. Kara followed him. You go in there, we might never see you again. Looked back at her. I don't think you ever really saw me to begin with. She shook her head. You're not Jonah anymore. He gave a small smile. No, he said. I'm something older. The airlock opened. The red light from the alien ship bathed him in its glow, and without a word, Jonah stepped across the void. The ship welcomed him. Jonah stood in the center of the alien ship's chamber. The walls pulsed with soft red light, reacting to his presence. No, not just reacting. Welcoming him, he felt no fear now. This place was part of him, or maybe he was part of it behind him. The walls opened, sliding apart without sound. A hallway stretched forward, glowing brighter with each step he took. He didn't know where it led, but his blood did. It pulled him forward like a memory buried in his bones, deep inside the alien ship. Jonah reached a new chamber. This one was different. It was cold, silent. The walls here weren't smooth and red. They were dark metal, covered in long, coffin-like pods. Helena's voice echoed in his earpiece from the Ravenlight. We're reading strange signals, Jonah. High magnetic resonance. Are you near a reactor? No, Jonah said quietly. A lab. He walked forward, running his hand across one of the pods. It lit up inside. Something moved. The pod opened with a hiss. Inside was a human or something. That used to be human. Its body was thin, its skin metallic and cracked. Red lines pulsed beneath it like living wires. Its eyes were closed, but its chest rose and fell. Jonah stared. It's alive, whispered Kara. Watching through his body cam, gasped. What the hell is that? Helena answered. A prototype, a hybrid. Jonah nodded slowly. I know. Because I dreamed it. Jonah reached out to the wall. It responded instantly. A glowing projection appeared. Alien symbols, data logs. But Jonah could read it all now, as easily as reading his own name, thousands of years ago. The ship had been part of a seeding fleet designed to carry human DNA across the galaxy, not for colonization. For evolution, they weren't trying to spread. Life, they were trying to upgrade it. The logs continued. Human test subjects were taken, some volunteers. Others not. Their bodies were fused with nanotech designed to adapt to any environment, repair any wound, and unlock telepathic potential. Most subjects died. A few survived but became unstable. The project was shut down, but this ship had kept going, drifting for millennia, waiting for another spark of compatible blood. And then Jonah arrived. He wasn't just infected. He was the first successful prototype in over 10,000 years. Jonah stood in the center of the lab as the pods around him began to open one by one. None of the other hybrids moved. They were preserved, silent, frozen in time. Then a voice came not through speakers, but inside his mind. You are the first true host. The experiment continues. Phase 3, reactivation. Jonah dropped to one knee, clutching his head. Visions filled his mind. Other ships, other prototypes, other worlds where the experiment failed. He was the only one, the only success. And now, Earth was next. Back on the Ravenlight. Panic was rising. Eli paced the bridge while Helena and Kara argued. "We have to stop this," Helena said. "He's not just changed, he's connected. He's triggering something bigger." Kara pointed to the data spike. "Look at these readings. The ship is fully online now, and that signal it sent out. It was a genetic ping. It called out to any human DNA within range." Eli frowned. Ruth, Helena nodded. "If that message reaches Earth, every person could become like Jonah." Eli opened a sealed case. Inside, a prototype EMP warhead, a kill switch. Jonah stood at the helm of the alien ship. The main core pulsed around him, a glowing heart, the size of a truck. He could feel Earth in his mind now. Not just its location, its people. He could feel their thoughts, their pain, their dreams, and they could feel him. He wasn't just a prototype. He was the conduit. If he let the connection complete, the entire human race would awaken. But what would they become? He looked at his own hands, half human, half dash machine, and he hesitated. The Ravenlight began its approach to the alien ship. Eli held the EMP device in his hands. Ready to board, Jonah stood at the heart of the ancient vessel, surrounded by sleeping hybrids, glowing veins, and data flowing through the walls like blood. Two choices. Connect Earth or destroy the ship. A voice echoed in both ships at once. Decision point reached. Will humanity rise or remain broken? Earth orbit 4 days later. A probe from the Ravenlight transmitted the alien signal back to Earth before it could be stopped. No one knew exactly what it said, but then the changes began. First with blood, doctors reported strange results. Cell regeneration spiking, fevers that ended in moments, and DNA repairing itself with no explanation. Then came the dreams. Millions of people around the world reported visions of red corridors, alien halls, and voices that whispered in languages no one should know, and always. At the center of the dream, a glowing man with red eyes. Jonah, seeing the ship's final message to Earth inside the alien ship. Jonah stood before the core. It pulsed like a beating heart, one that now reached Earth itself. The ship's systems had activated something deep within the human genome. Something buried for thousands of years. It was no longer a question of if, only when. A new message pulsed from the core. It's not words, but feelings, memories meant for every human it reached. You were made for more. Awaken. The ship called. It ascension. Eli called it infection. On the Ravenlight. Captain Eli Mercer stared at the EMP warhead in the launch bay. They had one shot. One blast that could destroy the alien. It panned Jonah with it, but it might also kill the signal permanently. No. Backups, Kara said. No second chances. If we fire this, it's over. Helena stepped forward. What if this isn't a threat? She asked. What if it's the next step for us? A cure for aging disease, death. Eli's voice was hard. Or what if we become something we can't control? Something not human? Silence. Then Kara said quietly, Jonah might already be past saving. Jonah sat inside the ship's neural interface chamber. He no longer needed to move or speak. His mind was connected to the ship. To Earth, he could feel cities from orbit. He could feel people waking up one by one, touched by the signal, but not. All of them welcomed it. Some resisted, and resistance caused pain. The ship gave him a choice. Force them to accept the transformation, or shut the system down. Jonah hesitated. For the first time since the change began, he wasn't sure what was right. Was this evolution or invasion? Back on the Ravenlight, the crew was fracturing. Half wanted to fire the EMP now. The other half wanted to try to speak with Jonah again. Helena said he hasn't hurt us. He's given us knowledge, tech, even healed some of our injuries. But at what cost? Eli shot back. What happens when no one's fully human anymore? Kara added, We're not doctors anymore. We're playing God, Helena whispered. Or maybe we're just catching up to what we were always meant to be. The ship outside pulsed again. A low hum filled the bridge, and this time they didn't just hear it. They felt it. A surprise transmission came from Earth, encrypted, from high-level government channels. It was short. One sentence: cease the signal or be considered hostile. Then a countdown timer appeared. 12 hours until Earth deployed an orbital weapon strike on both ships. Kara stared at the screen. They're going to burn us both. Eli clenched his fists. We fire the EMP. We end this. Now. But Helena stepped between him and the launch controls. There's another way. Jonah opened his eyes. He could feel Eli's shuttle landing inside. The alien ship. He walked calmly to the docking bay. When the airlock opened, Eli stood there, blaster in one hand, EMP device in the other. Jonah didn't flinch. Eli raised the weapon. Shut it down now. Jonah looked at him, not angry, not afraid. I can. But if I do, ... we lose everything. No more disease. It's no more pain. We could be more. Eli's voice cracked. At what cost? Jonah stepped closer. You still think I'm the virus? He said. But maybe ... I'm the cure. The countdown. From Earth reached 10 minutes, Eli held the EMP trigger in his hand. Jonah stood still, glowing veins pulsing under his skin, red light reflecting in his eyes. Decide, Jonah said. Let Earth evolve. Or go back to being breakable. Outside the ship, Earth's orbital weapons powered up. On the bridge of the Ravenlight, Kara stared at the incoming strike warning. She whispered to herself, what if we're about to kill the next version of humanity? The screen cut to black. The orbital strike began with a flash from Earth's upper atmosphere. A high-velocity kinetic weapon launched no warhead, just mass and speed. Enough force to flatten a mountain. It was aimed straight at the alien ship. On board the Ravenlight, alarms screamed. Eli stood frozen at the view screen. They're not bluffing, he said. Kara checked the trajectory. Impact in 2 minutes. The alien ship. Jonah closed his eyes. The signal in his body pulsed faster. The ship felt the danger just as he did, and it reacted. The red veins along its hull lit up, burning like fire. Then it moved as the weapon approached. The alien ship transformed. Panels opened. Structures unfolded from its surface like flour. Petals made of metal, and then without warning, it released a wave of energy. A shimmering red sphere expanded from its core when the kinetic projectile hit the field. It didn't explode. It stopped, frozen in midspace, like time had paused around it then, silently. The weapon crumbled into dust, disassembled at the molecular level. The Ravenlight shook slightly from the energy spike. Kara whispered. It stopped. The weapon... with a thought. Jonah's voice came through the coms, quiet but calm. I told you this ship doesn't want to fight, but it will protect itself. Earth didn't stop. 3 more signals launched. This time, drones... armed, fast AI-driven. The orders were simple. Get inside. Detonate at the core. On the Ravenlight, Eli turned to his crew. They're going to start a war with something they don't understand. Helena said maybe it's time someone fought for the ship instead of against it. Eli looked at her, torn. Are you saying we side with Jonah? I'm saying we stop Earth from making the biggest mistake in history. Eli sent 2 teams. Team 1, try to intercept the drones before they reach the alien ship. Team 2, go back into the alien ship to find Jonah. Helena volunteered to lead Team 2. She had a message for Jonah. Kara went with her, rifle ready. Let's hope he still wants to talk, she muttered. They boarded the alien ship through the same docking port Jonah had entered. Inside, it was no longer dark and cold. Now, it's glowing alive. They found him standing in the central chamber. He looked almost human, but not quite. His eyes glowed faint red. His skin had subtle patterns running through it, like living circuitry. When he turned, the walls moved with him, responding to his thoughts. "Helena," he said softly. "I didn't think you'd come." She stepped forward. "We need to stop this before more people die," Kara added. "You can shut it down. Tell the ship to stand down." Jonah looked pained. "I could, but Earth won't stop. They see us as a virus." "Then give them proof we're not," Helena said. "Let us help." Jonah hesitated. Then the walls pulsed. The ship's voice filled the room inside their minds, not their ears. "The resistance has begun. Phase 4. Defense." Panels opened. Drone interceptors launched from the ship like hornets. Helena grabbed Jonah's arm. "It's not asking you. It's doing this on its own." Jonah's eyes widened. "No, it's protecting me." "I didn't order that." Kara's face darkened. "Then you're not in control anymore." Back on the Ravenlight, Team 1 was. Losing contact with the drones, the alien ship was too fast. Too smart, it adapted instantly. But something worse was happening. One of the engineers, Jace, collapsed on the floor. His skin glowed faint red. Helena's voice came through. "It's not just Jonah anymore. The signals inside our crew." Ela's heart sank. The change was spreading through comms. It's a simple contact. Not a virus, not a weapon. A network. One that was turning humans into something new without asking. Helena turned to Jonah. "You're not a savior anymore. You're the center of a system that's taking over people without their consent." Jonah stepped back. "No, it's helping them." Kara raised her weapon. "You can't let it continue." Jonah looked at her sadly. "I can't stop it now. The ship chose, not me." Suddenly the lights dimmed. The chamber doors closed. The ship had made its choice, and now was protecting Jonah from everyone. Outside, Earth's last drone prepared to detonate inside the alien ship. Inside, Eli armed the EMP device. Helena looked at Jonah. "You have to stop this. Not as a hybrid, as a human." Jonah stared at his hands, shaking. The network pulsed through his thoughts, but deep inside, humans still remained, and it was afraid. He closed his eyes and reached for the control. Jonah screamed, not in pain, but in remembrance. Images rushed into his mind. Cities made of crystal, starships with living skin. Beings that looked almost human, but their blood glowed with red light. He saw wars that shattered planets, a great silence that followed, and finally, an escape pod, drifting through the stars, carrying something small, something alive, a drop of blood. That drop had landed on Earth 200,000 years ago, and it had waited until now. Helena and Kara watched as Jonah collapsed. His body spasmed. His skin flickered between human and something else, something glowing, ancient, and wrong. Then the room lit up. A projection filled the air, not just images, but sensations. The ship was showing its memory, the origin, a species called the Viraxi. Long dead, they were creators, explorers, but also arrogant. They believed they could rewrite life itself. They built the ship as a last resort, filled with their most advanced nanotech. It was designed to carry their legacy, but the Viraxi died. Before they could use it, only their final creation, a blood dash, survived. It drifted for eons, until it found humans. Until it found Jonah, Kara whispered. "We're not evolving. We are becoming them." Jonah sat up slowly. "No, we were always part of this. We shared DNA markers. Their blood and ours, it's not coincidence." Helena shook her head. "You're saying we were meant to find this?" Jonah nodded. "Not alien anymore. It's coming home." But Kara wasn't convinced. "Or it's a parasite that tricked you into opening the door." Outside the ship, Earth sent another transmission. Surrender the artifact, or be destroyed. Time was running. Out suddenly, the alien ship's core changed color from red to white. Jonah looked up. The ship is waking up fully now. Not just the defenses. Its mind. Kara raised her rifle. And what happens when it decides to finish what the Varaxi started? Jonah closed his eyes. I don't think it wants war. I think it wants to return. Return where? Helena asked. Jonah looked toward the star's home. The Ravenlight sensors picked up something new, not from Earth, from outside the solar. Smes, pulse, rhythmic, purposeful. Helena read the signal. It's the same frequency the alien ship uses. Eli asked, so there's more out there? Not just more ships? Helena said. Something, ... waiting, listening. Kara's voice was flat. We just lit a beacon, and something's answering. Jonah stepped toward the ship's interface. The walls welcomed him. He touched the core, and suddenly, the ship sent its own pulse back. The message was simple. We have returned. Helena stared at Jonah. Are you still with us? He looked at her with glowing eyes, but a human sadness. In them, I remember things I've never seen, places I've never been. But I still remember you. I still feel human. Kara stepped in. Then prove it. Shut the signal down before this gets worse. Jonah hesitated. I can't shut it off. Not? Helena asked. He looked at the core, voice hollow. Because it's no longer a signal, it's a call. A massive Earth fleet arrived in orbit. Multiple ships, nukes armed, final ultimatum broadcast on all channels. Stand down or be erased. This is your last warning. The Ravenlight-powered weapons just in case. But the alien ship, ... did nothing. It didn't raise shields, didn't fire back. It just waited as if it knew. Something Earth didn't. Jonah stepped to the center of the chamber. If they attack, we won't survive, Kara said. He turned to her. We won't need to. The stars above the ship changed. New shapes appeared. Distortions in space. Helena looked out the window and gasped. Dozens of red points of light were appearing like stars blinking on. But they weren't stars. They were ships. Other ships responding to the call. Jonah smiled faintly. They heard. Us. The order came in silence. Earth's fleet didn't broadcast a warning. They just launched. Nuclear warheads streaked across space toward the alien ship. Engines burning white-hot. On the Ravenlight, alarms blared. Kara stared in disbelief. They're really doing it, Helena whispered. We're too late. But inside the alien vessel, Jonah stood still. Eyes closed. The red veins across the walls pulsed. Slowly. Calm. The ship wasn't preparing to fight. It was preparing to leave. The first missile struck. But there was no explosion. Instead, the missile passed straight through the ship's hull. As if the matter wasn't solid anymore. Helena gasped. It's phasing. Jonah opened his eyes. They were glowing bright crimson, now but not threatening. Peaceful. The ship isn't made of normal matter anymore. It's transcending. Transcending into what? Kara demanded. Jonah looked up at the stars. Something beyond us. Something we were always meant to become. A bit from deep space, the red lights drew closer. One by one, it took form dozens of ships, all built from the same alien nanotech. Each different. Each alive, and each responding to the signal Jonah had awakened. The nearest ship pulsed once. Jonah flinched, as if hearing a voice no one else could. They're not just ships, he said. They single quotes, carriers of memory, of purpose. Helena stepped forward. What do they want? Jonah turned slowly. U.S. The voice filled the chamber, not human, not machine. You've accepted the legacy. You are the final seed. The bridge. It wasn't coming from the ship. It was coming from all of them. Kira raised her weapon again, trembling. Can't seriously trust that. Jonah didn't move. They're not forcing anything, or offering us a choice. To stay as we are, ... or take the next step, Helena asked. What does that step look like? The walls changed, showing a human body evolving, glowing veins. Thought communicating faster than light? A blend of human and Varaxi. Jonah looked down at his hands. I've already stepped through. On Earth, chaos spread. News of the signal went public. Some worshipped it. Others feared it. Governments collapsed. Under the pressure of knowing that humanity might not be alone or original, Eli, still aboard the Ravenlight, received a message. Declare sides, immediately. He looked out at the red ships. I already have, he said softly, he ordered. Full power to shields, not to fight, but to protect the alien ship from Earth's retaliation. For the first time, humanity was not just watching history happen, they were making it. Jonah stood before the core again. Helena and Kara stood beside him, one with hope, the other with fear. You don't have to go, Helena said. You can stop this, Jonah shook his head. I'm not leaving to escape. I'm leaving to guide. Placed his hand on the core. The chamber glowed. One may ascend, many may follow. Jonah turned. You'll have the choice. All of you. In time. Kara whispered, We're not ready. Jonah smiled gently. I wasn't either. And then his body dissolved into light. The alien ship pulsed once, then vanished. Not with speed, not with sound, just ... gone. Moments later, the other red ships followed, one by one. Blinking out of reality, and with them, the signal disappeared. The warships from Earth powered down. No longer needed. It's no longer aimed at anything. The Ravenlight floated alone in orbit. The silence was overwhelming. Weeks later, Helena recorded a message. He's gone. The signal remains in our DNA. We've scanned it. Hidden strands. Silent. Waiting, like it always was. Kara sat beside her, still quiet, still uncertain. We don't know what happens next, but we know it's not over. Some humans began showing signs of change, small, quiet things. Faster reflexes, sharper thoughts. Empathy that crossed language barriers. A whisper of what was coming. A whisper of what Jonah became. They gave us a choice, Helena said. He made his. Now it's ours. And far beyond the stars, in a galaxy forgotten by time. Jonah opened his eyes. He stood on a world of light, and he was not alone.